So now let's go back to the topic. So since Peter has talked about that, how we can create a reports and our dashboards and how we can import the data. So for this section, I'm going to focus more on the collaboration and sharing part. For collaboration, actually BellaDati, what we can say that it's a mini social platform for us. For example, you can make comments on each cell of the table, and you are able to have a chat panel on the report, so that, for example, if two of us have the same reports, we can chat with each other, make our comments there. I'm going to demo it later. And you can add attachments to that particular report, for example, just for further illustration. So let's go to the system. So currently, I'm using the Meetup mail account to log in. Let me just show you one report, for example, this one, project planning overview. Basically, this is a report about what you have done. This is the data is exported from Microsoft project. So basically, what you do that you are analyzing your project progress and planning data. So here, how you can make comments and here, for example, I want to make a comment group. I just type it here, and I'm able to see the comment here. And for example, I want to make some comment on this cell. So you can just click it, and then you can make comment. For example, and you will be able to see that, okay, the comment. And you will be able to see that comment. So, and what else that, for example, I'm logging in using another browser, and hopefully this report, I just share this report to another user, and this user can see exactly the same report. And I can also make comments on it. Because we are sharing the same report, so actually the comments I just made is visible to this user also. I can make like it. So once you go back to this one, you will be able to see I like it from the data manager one account. Okay, this is basically about making comments and adding attachments. For attachments, you just need to click here and upload any file you want to use. That's it. So it's basically very simple and easy to use. And let me go back to the slides again. Okay. So in terms of sharing, we have a few options for you to share the report and dashboard via to different third party or others. For example, firstly, you can export the report to PDF, PPT, Excel, or PNG format. And then you can schedule emails automatically to any other recipients. For example, I'm the manager and I don't want to log in to the system every day to see the reports. So what you can do is that you can just add it to your auto schedule email list and send it, for example, every day morning, 8 a.m. I want to receive this report. So you will be able to send this report to his email in any format you want, and he will be able to receive it. The third thing I think Peter have covered about is that embed the report or dashboard into the web portal or your application. I'm going to show you in the web page later. And then you can publish your report to dashboard, which means that for dashboard, basically it's a collaboration of views from different reports. So you can take, for example, you're analyzing, you're monitoring your Facebook, your Twitter, your YouTube channel. So basically, once you have these reports from different channels, so you want to put all these reports together. So in your dashboard, you can have one view for your YouTube and one view for your Facebook and one view for your Twitter. So you have a better overview of how is your social network performance for the period. And of course, you will be able to share these reports with other users. As we have mentioned, we have different access roles for different users. I'm going to demonstrate to you later in the system. So let me show you how we can export the report into different formats. So basically, you just click reports and just open any reports you want, and you click export. You will be able to, for example, say click save as document. You will be able to save it as PDF, PPT, Excel. For this one, actually, what you are doing is that you are exporting this. You are exporting the whole report. Means that all the fields in this report. For example, you have 10 fields here. You are exporting it. All these 10 fields. What you can do is that, for example, I just want this table. I just want to export this one. You can also do it. Just click here, and then you'll be able to select the type you want to export. And then, for example, I want to embed this table into my web page. What you can do is that there's an option here to embed to page, and you just create the new embed. So you'll be able to choose the size of the view you want. For example, I choose white. So I will be able to, and you can get a preview here. Once you click show external page, you'll be able to see the table here. The connection is a little bit slow, but I think let's check.
So that's a HTTPS connection.
Yeah.
So
yes, for example, if you want to embed this one into your web portal, so you just copy this iframe code and put it in your web portal.
Just talking about data security for a second. So and the user authentication process. So say it's on a customer intranet. They've had to authenticate to get into there. Then somebody's looking at that. In theory, that they could take that iframe code off the page and stick it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So how do you prevent that data from becoming public? Does the user have to log into BellaDati to see the embed?
Oh, no. Once, for example, you have a web page and you want to put this chart table on your web page, you just need to put the code in your web page. And I think and there are some authentication. If an external user wants to see it, it will always be the live chat. But for internal user, I think.
No. Let me clarify maybe.
As long as you log in.
You can take the code. You can put it everywhere you want. You can put it to the public web page. Everyone will see it. You can public it somewhere secure in a portal. Only people who have access to the site where you actually embed it will be able to access it. If someone takes the code, if someone logs into your web account, takes the code and put it somewhere else, then it will be visible. But the question is like, that I can log into my banking account and copy my stuff and put it online also. So this is the question of the security. How you secure your portal and who you're going to give access to this view, and then what they're going to do about it is another question. So if you think about like, hey, I give them access, they copy the iframe, they put it public, it will be visible. But it's up to you how you secure, if you want to have it secure, how you secure the page where this will be embedded.
Yeah.
Because if I don't secure my internet banking, then I cannot be complaining that someone just copied my statement and put it online. So this is how I think about it.
Okay. But I imagine I'm not technical enough to know the answer to this, but I imagine there would be a way to have some sort of token authentication system that recognizes that a user is a BellaDati valid user and checks that before displaying, rather than just having it as a publicly.
But normally, why you want to give your username and password to a public?
No. It's the specific use case is we're a partner. We use your service to provide insights to our clients. We give them an interface to come and look at it, which may be the BellaDati report layer or may be an iframe. Okay, that iframe. If that iframe can be copied and pasted elsewhere, I'm imagining that my clients or my clients' clients will have severe issues with the fact that it's a public, it's accessible, there's no token authentication or no security.
Yep. Because this is a special case that you want to actually, as we discussed, during the break, that you want to be like the chain of like partner. I think it's more about like, how we thought about it. It's more about like, I have a company and I put it on a company portal, or I put it, somewhere publicly, or put it to a Salesforce that actually people then cannot switch without the application. Your case is really special because you have chain of responsibilities from you to your customers to their customers. You know.
Yeah.
We can definitely think about it like a token. I need to discuss this with developers. But
Well, I suppose
that's a valid question.
if we've got it hosted on our servers, then we can do whatever we want to lock down access.
Yeah.
We don't need you to do that. Yeah.
So we'll discuss this because, as I say, this is a special case. Okay.
Okay, so basically this is about embedding your report view to an external page. So just now I mentioned about schedule email. So what you can do is schedule email. For example, I just click here, and then for example, I want to choose a recipe. For example, I want to schedule email to this data manager account and choose a frequency. I want to indicate the time, and you guys choose the type you want to export also. So once you set this once, and this account will be able to, this report will be sent to this email daily. So this is very useful. For example, when people don't want to log in and they don't have, they don't need to log in. And then what I can show you that currently you see here that there are so many reports. For example, I can show you how many reports we have here. And for example, you want to add all those fields into a dashboard. I've told you that a dashboard is a collaboration of different fields from the report. So what we can do is that you can just simply click add to dashboard, and then these are all the fields here. For example, I want to add project planning, planning overview, and work in progress by phase to a new dashboard. I just click here and select a target dashboard. And once I click it, when I go to dashboard again, so I will be able to see the test one dashboard, which contains only the two fields I just select. Okay, so of course you will be. That's how when we use dashboards. And the next thing that I'm going to share with you more about how we share with other users in the same domain. Before that, I need to illustrate a little bit about our user roles in the system. So basically, when you see this chart, you will be able to see, okay, currently we have 4 roles in the system. Of course, the top level is the domain administrator, and then we have the data manager, we have the report editor, then we have the default role. Basically, for every account you create in the system, by default, you are using the default role. For example, and you want to, and of course you can choose it to be a data manager or a report editor. And on top of that, we have the domain administrator, which have much more access rights than the two. So for default role, you will have access to all the shared reports. For example, you just have an account, and you just need to fill some reports. So I can just, I'm the report editor. Once I finish the report, just share to you, so you can just see the reports and you cannot edit it. And then you can create your own dashboard because you have the reports, so you can drag all the views to the dashboards you want and see it in the ways that you want. And for report editor, basically what you can do is that you are in charge of all the reporting layer, like reporting dashboard. But you have no access and no idea what the data is because you cannot see the data sets. So you can create reports, you can define the content of the report, and you can access to shared data sets. Shared data set, what I can show you is that for each data set, you can set a permission. You can set it to be global permission, which means that all the users in your domain will be able to see this data set. And or you can set what are the users that are able to see this data set. And of course, you won't be able to import that data because you are the report editor. And for data manager, basically, they're doing in charge of all the data sets management, import data, define the connectors, writing the ETL scripts, and to share the data set to others. And on top of that, the highest user role is domain administrator. It has all the access rights of these 3 other roles, and it also has users management, like create user, delete user, deactive user, or set the password related, and application setting. For example, just now when we saw that in the portal, is on top of it is BellaDati, or it's the blue background. For example, I will change it to other background, red, or change the logo there. to my company, for example, IDC, I want to change to IDC, I can do that easily. So you are able to configure the settings of the whole system. And of course, you have great access to all the dashboards and reports in the domain, which means that even if it's not created by you, you can see it. You can see everything. So here are the permission options. I think Peter have mentioned to you that in our system, we have the single row precise sharing. What does this mean? This means that as we have shown you that there is a filter on the report layer, right? For our data set layer, we also have a filter function. For example, I just want you to see the, for example, just now I show you the project planning, the table. I just want you to see the data for phase 1 or phase 2. So I can just set a filter there. You will only be able to see the report for that particular set. And of course, you will be able to create user and share the, you set a role for this user. It could be any of the role indicated above. And you can also create a user group and set permissions for this user group. Have any questions?
Just know when you show all the group sharing, like videos, add comment, all this, can you do something like adding text, like, you know, in Evernote or those kind of notes where you can put a tag, like few people are working on a certain day, and after a few weeks, you want to gosh, I saw a chart somewhere, something like that. You want to filter, but I can't remember because there's so many. But if you can add text, you can just use a tag and go back and refer to all the material done or for the particular date.
You can click here and then insert text if you want. Just okay.
So you can tag your report on the report
For
level.
example, you just click report, and here, if you show more, here is a you can change the name if you have the editor rights, and then you click more, you will be able to see. Okay, this report is basically built by you from this data set, and it's created by this account with his owner, and I can add text here.
Yeah, so
So
you
you
put there
just
like you put there like whatever project, something else, other tags, and then when you go
Save.
you save it, and when you go to reports, yeah, you have a text there.
So you'll be able to see the
Yeah,
text.
if you go
This
to
text will be included when you do search.
Yeah, so if you go to reports, then there's a on the left side there's a panel for basically searching, searching reports, so you can search by
So
report
for
name,
example,
by
you
tags,
can
and so on.
search by,
You know,
you can
different-
sort, and you can search.
by different names from between the tables, by indicator, by attributes. So you're interested in some kind of an indicator. I'm interested in, as I was saying, dropout rate. I would be able to search all the reports with the dropout rate indicator of this attribute. So
Can this text be dynamic? Say, for example, I want this tag to see, okay, first month, then when data change, say moves to the second month, they change to the second month. Can this tag be dynamic?
tags,
In
tags are more like hashtags. Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, it's more for search, but I don't, because this is only linked to the report, I don't think it will link to some data sets.
Yeah, I cannot imagine like the use case. Maybe if you specify the use case, like change for a second month.
Dynamically, as in maybe the month itself is automatically tied to a
Yes,
certain
yes.
variable. So
Yes.
let's say someone updated, and then
Yes.
the updated date became from June, and then I updated in July.
Mhm.
There could be a hashtag that shows June, and then when
So
it's
you mean
updated.
the hashtag is dynamic?
Yeah, correct. So I think that's where you're coming from, right?
Well,
Probably
then
not
kind
the
of,
typical use case for a.
No,
Yeah.
the use case,
but why we need this use case?
Actually, it's very useful. Sometimes you, like I know other tools which are able to
For example,
export file can do this. Yeah.
so the tag is basically based on for each report and,
You can build that dynamic tag if you want.
okay.
And then I have to derive tag from like date. So I have to say how the tag by which value will change,
Yes,
the tag.
by some variable.
So by some variables.
Or like you can even put functions there.
So basically for the tag, you are able to define the tag by using some formulas and functions so that it's dynamic.
But yeah, if you want to do function, it's also dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
We can do
yeah,
that,
we-
we can talk to the developer, we can have that.
Yeah.
It's not a problem, right?
That's an interesting use case of dynamic tags.
Okay. So next I'm going to show you how we share reports for dashboards or data sets. For example, currently is the Meetup theme. So what I want to do is that I want to share this report. Currently, these are all the users I have. So you can, because you are the domain administrator, so you are able to see all the users, and you can also create user. Just now I create one user here. Maybe let me create another. I will create it as a data manager once I create it. So you will be able to see that this will, currently I will just change the password on my own for this user, so I can log in at another person.
You mean that you need to change, that you need to create an email for all the users?
No, because if you company are using an intranet, for example, so actually basically you have all your accounts there, right? We can provide Active Directory. For here it's just for demo because this email is a fake email. I can notice this user, so this user, in the email of the user, you will have a link, so once you first time log in, you need to create your new password. But currently, because I cannot access this email, so I just assign a password from my side. So this password has been changed. So what I want to do is that, so once you log in here, instead of currently, I think this guy has nothing in his domain. And for example, what I want to do is I want to share data sets. You won't be able to see any data sets here. So for example, from the admin account, I want to share data sets to this person. Okay. So what you can do is that, for example, you go to this report. This is the report that I just used, and you can share this report to this guy. Once you click here, you'll be able to see data manager 2. You can choose whether you want him to edit it or not. No, I don't allow him to edit. So that's it. Once you edit it, you can also remove it if you want. So, and then, for example, here, I know that this report is built on this data set. I just go to this data set and I choose share with user. So I will be able to share this report with the user. Because what I'm going to show you that, for example, once you edit and you allow editing.
Sorry, so are you sharing the report or sharing the data set itself?
We can do both. We can do both.
But if we share the report, we do not necessarily have to share the data set, right?
Oh, yeah. But because it's the data manager, what I'm going to show you that I'm going to share a subset of the data set.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you don't need to share those. If you only want this data manager to see the data, you don't want him to in charge of any reports. You don't need to share the repository. You can only once if you only share the data set, you will be only be able to see the data set.
Okay.
So actually, what you can see is that here there is a filter function. Currently, I didn't set any filter for this one. Once you click it, you will see nothing is there. So actually, I expect this guy to be able to see the data sets for the full set. So in his report, he will be able to see the full report with all the without any filter. For example, I just show you here. For the last report, you will be able to show all the phases 1 to 5. So what I'm going to do now is that, for example, I just want you to see the phase for phase 2, for example. Phase 2 is analysis. So what will happen is that once you set this, okay, so you will see, you'll be able to see, okay, now this user only have a subset of the data. If you go back and refresh it, you will so basically here you will only be able to see for phase 2 data, and all the rest applies. Even if you go to the data sets, when you browse the data, you will only see a subset of the data. This is how you can apply for filter. If you apply for more filter, of course you can realize single row precise sharing. That's what we mean, single row precise sharing. Any questions?
Yeah, so this is the case we discussed at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like once you share a report, users can see everything, but you can restrict them to see only a specific, as I said, school, country, region, whatever. You can combine the filters together. So then you can go down to single row.
So I suppose you can actually restrict by permissions level as well, right?
Yes.
This is ultimate, yeah, this is
You can
ultimate.
allow the editing or does not allow editing. Because just now when I share to this data manager tool, I don't allow him to edit reports. So when you go back to reports,
What about the data set?
data
You can
sets
do
you
the
can
same
also,
thing,
yeah,
okay.
it's the same, it's the same. You can also allow editing or does not allow editing. Because if you check the slides here, because view or edit are the options that you can set for permissions. And for data sets, you can set a view or edit and full or only a subset. And for all this, you can set for global permission. Global permission means that, for example, I show you. These are view access for everybody in the domain means that for all the users listed just now there, they will be able to see it once you change it to global permission.
This is for data structure?
This is only for data sets.
Data sets, right, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Because earlier on when you browse the data manager, it actually allows you to delete records, right?
Because what I said to you is able to edit the data sets, the data manager.
So the global permissions doesn't impact the data.
Oh, there's a priority. I think the priority is that each user's particular role is higher than the global permission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
Global permission is few access, right? But then a manager because he can edit, so
Right.
at the end he still can edit.